Excellent. All right, good. Okay. Well. So, when we were last together, there were a few things going on. One is easy to say. Jacob was over at the New York Municipal
Mm-hmm.
Library and was doing a little bit of letting his fingers, do the walking as far as looking up information on a few things. One was the McAllister building, which he discovered is formerly the Lundeen House, the home of Henry Lundeen, a a wealthy dilettante and businessman of some sort, who not only built the house, but also apparently died in it, um, as did his son.
Wah, wah.
Yep. And he found that the home had been built by architect by the name of Asa Darabandi, who appears to have some history of his own, in the form of a number of books that have been written about him, including The Devil's Craftsman. And so that was sort of what Jacob had just covered, had gotten copies of those books, and he was going to do some continued looking there. He did see a couple things that had come up. One is that Asa Darabandi apparently had additional files somewhere in the New York police record system. Um, and so there was that piece as well, something that wasn't covered in the special records of the library. Meanwhile, uh, Vic was continuing to look around the building, but you haven't seen Vic in a few hours. Awful
We
long
successfully
time.
make it back out of the basement. We may have to go upstairs to try and find Vic.
Yeah. Uh,
Did
so,
you say if we make it out of the basement?
I was the one that took a little hit to my sanity down there, so I'm
That's
yeah.
right.
a little rattled.
Just looking at some of those pictures, beautiful works of art down there, great work, in fact. And so, yeah, I think the last you had done down in the basement was you had seen there was this crack in the wall. You were sort of looking at that. A little bit of noise, a little bit of spring coming through there, but just a little bit of
That's
wind.
right.
A little bit of the subway coming by and the pressurization. You know how it goes. It's perfectly explainable.
Normal stuff.
Normal stuff. But you were down in the basement, and I believe what I had indicated is that Willow.
Noticed something, and she was getting closer to the crack to try to.
No, what I wanted Willow to do was to make a check for me. Make an intelligence.
Is this about my lunch plans?
Oh yeah, that's right.
I wanted Willow to make an intelligence check.
Intelligence, okay.
Yeah.
Hold on to your clowns.
Or they'll hold on to you.
There
Indeed.
Yeah, so Willow, you're downstairs and you have this flash. You remember thinking back to this morning, your sister saying something about wanting to take you out to lunch, some particular cafe some particular cafe that she was very excited about. And so you realize it's about 12:30 now. You maybe have a chance to, if you hurry, if you rush, you might be able to get over there, or alternatively, you can call her up. You have your cell phone with you, so you could always just Oh. Uh-oh. Let's see.
I'm
Where's
back.
the hammer? There we go. And
Thank goodness.
whoa.
Hey.
Whoa.
Vic, you better have discovered a whole bunch of stuff in the many hours you've been upstairs on the second floor.
Still creeping around up there?
Yeah, you've been it's interesting. Vic, we'll actually get to what you've been up to. But welcome.
This is gonna be like Game of Thrones, where it focuses on, shifts focus, and now this whole episode is gonna be about Vic and his misadventures upstairs.
That's right. Yeah, the wild, wacky adventures of Vic Getty. But yeah. So Willow, what
Yeah.
do you do?
You know,
You
it's a
have
great
this-
question because,
You're a little peckish.
yeah. Do I remember where she said it is, or would I know how far away it is?
Yeah, I mean, you're not a New York, you're not a NYC native, so I don't know that you'd know exactly. She had mentioned it in passing, but you vaguely recall. You could call her up.
uh, well, let me check with my friend. What am I supposed to call him?
Eddie.
Eddie, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Eddie, I unwisely made lunch plans with my sister in half an hour.
You're like, what sort of second-rate operation is this? That
How do you feel about me leaving you alone down here?
Yeah, what do you think? Should I just like
discovered this crack right here. I'm gonna go ahead and go.
should I jet out real quick for a BLT or like where are you on this?
I get the club sandwich. I've heard the club's good.
Is this what they teach you in park ranger school? You just discover an illicit campsite and you jet off for I don't know what you do like a little morning hike, I guess.
Commune with the squirrels.
A chicken Caesar.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I'm good. You go ahead. I'm sure I'll be fine down here by myself.
All right. I'm going to call her.
Yeah.
Let's call her up. Can I call from the basement?
Your reception's not great.
Yeah.
Do we have cell phones? I forget.
Yeah,
We
you
have
have
it.
little flip phones.
Bleep, bleep.
Hello.
I thought we had beepers.
Yeah, you do. Well, you have those for your work.
Eddie, I got to pop upstairs real quick. I'll be right back.
All right. So you give Poppy a ring.
Yeah.
Hey, Willow. What's going on? Are you on your way?
Really hate to do this because
Why?
I already stood you up all day yesterday. Poppy, there's something I got to tell you because I'm not going to make it.
What are you talking about? I'm already, and you hear like the sounds of taxis and people walking by. She's like, I changed one of my meetings around. Like I'm walking there right now. Literally, I got us a reservation.
This may come as a surprise to you because me and my what's his face, my BF.
Yeah.
Rusty McDaniel.
Yeah, you and Rusty.
Oh, Rusty, sorry.
We've been kind of in a rough patch, and I kind of met somebody.
Wait, what?
He lives in the city. Shh, but you can't tell anyone. Nobody knows.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Is that where you were yesterday?
Yeah.
All day.
I was just too embarrassed to tell you, but I've got to be honest.
I don't. Here, hold on. You can tell she sort of steps off, maybe over to a little alley or alcove. She's like, "Look, I can't believe you didn't tell me this." Like,
Well, it's new.
are you with him now?
Really new.
Yeah.
Well, what's his name?
His name is Alex. Alex Krychek.
Alex. Oh.
Yeah.
He was cute. I'm sorry.
He's a real stand-up guy.
I mean, Will, I don't know what to say. I mean, I have to say, I'm a little hurt you didn't tell me. I thought Rusty was a great guy.
He is, but he just, he hasn't understood since the abduction. We just fight all the time, me and Rusty.
Oh, okay. Well, let's see. I mean,
I totally saw this episode of Alias.
yeah.
I'm sure this happened.
Well, what about this? Okay, lunch is off. I'll just grab something at, I don't know, Bodega, but here's the thing. Like, you, me, Alex, drinks tonight. It's Friday night. Like, it's been a long week. I want to meet this guy.
He's not comfortable. He's the side piece. He's not going to come out of the shadows right now. He's not okay with that. And he told me, you're going to be the first one he meets, but not yet. Pops, you got to hang on.
I just okay. I need a persuade.
How many times have I rolled my eyes during this phone conversation?
They're just on perpetual.
This is incredibly persuasive.
I think Krychek would be fine being the side piece. Like, that's just. I don't think he's ever anything but.
He's not a commitment
That's
guy.
true.
Well, he's getting into the black goo.
Yeah.
What am I rolling?
Let's see. I believe it is a persuade. Yeah.
Persuade.
I'm super persuasive.
Not much.
Well, I don't.
Oh, there it is.
I don't like this. I mean, you don't tell me about him, and now, like, it's not okay to meet him. I'm not really comfortable. I'm kind of worried about this. Like, okay, how about fine, just the two of us, like some wine tonight. We'll talk about it, okay?
Yeah, I'll call. I'll call you later.
All right, you hang up.
God. This is supposed to be like in a game of escapism, and instead it's turned into a game of me having to make excuses for not wanting to follow through on plans.
I do this all the
just
time
like, I was just going to say a life simulator.
It's a horror game.
It is.
Have found the horror.
It's a horror game. I'm going to overpromise and
Underdeliver. I am bringing you to that uncomfortable place.
Yeah, it's worse than the clowns. All right,
it's
good.
Amazing.
Just wait till Jack has to be called on the carpet for turning in his project late. Then it's just gonna be like his brief. It's just gonna, yeah, exactly.
Can Vic have a son who's like maybe a freshman in high school and he's got to get some projects done?
Yeah,
not just want to do his homework. That's
no,
great.
It just doesn't. Vic, yeah, your wife's calling you. Like, Vic, where are you? We need you to apply like a little bit of the parental persuasion.
That's my ex-wife.
That's right. You're a third. Yeah.
All right, I've already failed this test.
All right. So Poppy is a little bit. She is not totally convinced. But you've canceled lunch. So, Vic, Jack. Jack. You tell me. Are you still down in the basement? Or are you going to be coming up?
No. I was listening to the entire phone call.
Yeah, the conversation from the little alcove coming out of the basement. You're just like,
yeah.
All right, Vic. You have been walking around the upstairs of the building, the second floor. Because I think after you interacted with Michelle, you
Yes.
you had this sort of odd feeling that stuck with you, and you began to you went up to the second floor of the building, and just continued to sort of wander around, like look, and you found that the doors of the apartments on the second floor, which is sort of ground floor, first floor, second floor, that the uh, doors to the uh, rooms, the apartments, were actually open.
Just unlocked, you mean?
Unlocked. Yeah.
Or ajar?
No, not ajar. Just unlocked.
Okay.
And so you began to look through those, and they were empty, dusty, dead, dead roaches, sort of in the corner type situation. You just found yourself sort of losing some time upstairs, just looking around, and so you catch a hold of yourself, sort of standing in the mid a beam of midday sun, sort of coming through this one window on the front of the building into this apartment, just kind of standing there watching the dust motes that you've kicked up walking in here, sort of dancing in the beam of light. This yellowy light that's coming through these old curtains. When you sort of come to yourself, kind of wonder, what am I up to here?
Okay. I look at my watch. Does like a whole lot of time pass? Or?
Yeah, it's about 12:30 ish, and you've been. I mean, you got here a little bit late, but it's still been good 3 hours or so since you arrived.
Okay. I will go back down to the apartment where we were at and see if the others are still here.
You go down to the apartment, and it's weird. The Abigail's apartment is empty. I mean, it's still full of all the stuff, and boxes are there. In fact, a couple of the new boxes have been formed, and the material put into them, some stuff taken off the walls, but nobody else is there.
And we still have this giant job.
What's that?
We still have this giant job of collecting all the evidence.
Yep.
Well, I'll start collecting the evidence. I'll start bagging and tagging.
All right. Give me a search roll.
Can you make the roll for me?
Oh yeah, sure, absolutely, I can. Not a problem. So. Oops. Let's see. Oh, unfortunately, it was.
Actually, I'm in now, so I could make the roll myself.
What's that?
I could make a roll myself now that I'm in, just in case you rolled something horrible.
Oh no, Rob. The roll was successful. So as you are looking around,
search fumble.
As you look around.
Oh man.
Rip something. Oh, look at this.
Yeah. You find sort of like you're assessing what the others have done, and you go into which of the rooms do you sort of go into? Do you think you stay in the kitchen area or the
bedroom?
The bedroom. Yeah, you head into the bedroom area, and you're walking through, sort of pulling things down. How careful are you being about bagging stuff? Are you just sort of throwing it in the boxes? Are you putting things in bags? Or tell me what you're doing.
No, I'm a professional, so I'm I don't know how professionals do it, but whatever they do, take stuff down, write down on the index card what I'm putting into the bag, and then move on to the next piece.
So you are pulling things down, and are generally just sort of being methodical, but not necessarily like spending a ton of time on each of these pieces, because quite frankly it gets a little tedious after a while. But you eventually notice that sort of as you're peeling pages away, you're realizing that these pages are sort of in the way of some underlying paper or page. A big piece of big piece of paper that is obscured by some sort of collection. These pages almost acting like a screen or a curtain in front of this. And you sort of peel them aside, and you realize that the pages have been glued together. So you peel one part of it back, and you see that there's something underneath on this large piece of paper. You pull the other side back, separating these glued together sheaves of paper. And underneath, you see this large piece of paper, and you find this on it. Nope. You find this symbol there.
Nothing popped up for me on Roll20.
So go ahead and go into your handouts area.
Yeah.
Under Abigail's apartment.
Yeah. Is the very first one masquerade photo?
No. Look down the list.
Okay.
Have you seen it?
Am I not supposed? Okay. Yeah. Okay.
Make a sanity check for me.
I think this is it.
So
Another fumble.
not another fumble, but you find yourself compelled to sort of trace the lines, and you realize that this is something important, something that means something, and that has some greater purpose here. And you feel really uncomfortable, like you need to get somebody's opinion on it. Like you really need to share this with someone else to see if they see the unusual, really peculiar nature.
Okay.
And so we'll leave Vic there, sort of considering this piece. Jacob, you're off in the library. Oh. Looks like.
Somehow I got muted. Yes, I am. I am starting to read through the page turner of the Devil's Craftsman and see what it has to say about this wonderful architect.
Yeah, so you get to looking through the Devil's Craftsman, and what's your history?
History score or
Yeah, your
what?
history score.
Or like, you know, where have I been?
Yeah.
Last
Tell me
years.
about yourself.
I wasn't sure what you meant.
60.
Okay. So you find that the book, as you're paging through it, you see that Darabonde was in his early career called the Picasso of architecture. That he designed these strange and misshapen constructions that he called thought buildings. And he was generally active between 1905 and 1921 in Chicago.
Okay.
And it seems that he, at that point in 1921, right after he had developed his reputation, he had what's sometimes described, and you aren't quite sure because you're sort of flipping through whether this is him describing it or not, but he had this sort of religious revelation that the author sort of touches on and says, the speculation they may have been addicted to laudanum or had some sort of drug experience or exposure. But he moved to 1921 and took up residence in a long-term residence in some midtown hotel. All 9 of the buildings he subsequently erected in New York still stand. Unlike his previous structures, though, from Chicago, they're all relatively mundane and of the period, but each has these sort of small, obsessed about flourishes, these sort of design elements that set them apart and make them sort of distinctive, sort of Darabonde construction, but nothing tremendously overt. And then he disappears in 1950. Just completely, nobody knows where he went. But and this is really the crux of this particular book, The Devil's Craftsman. After his disappearance in 1950, the New York police begin to suspect that he was responsible for the drowning deaths of at least 5 children, dating back to 1947.
Wow.
And he speculates, the book speculates, in fact, that, and you think maybe this is a little bit of the author getting into, with the title of the book, everything else, maybe a little bit of sort of deeper speculation, but that the author says that he could have been responsible for many more. There was only...
Do they have any reason why they think he's responsible, or any motives that was discussed or anything like that?
So you're flipping through, and it seems like in his in a building that he had been working on, it seems as if he left behind the body of 5-year-old Isabel Sauer. And he also had, at that point, racked up huge debts. And they found among his personal effects a logbook which had listed a number of names that they had been subsequently connected back to a number of children, dating back to 1921, and many, many sort of questions related to it. It seems as if the notebook had spoke at length about his belief that there was a secret imperial lineage within the United States, and in some way he was clearing the way for the ascension of the one true king, was what he had put in his logbook, and it seemed to be what police had speculated was his.
Is there any mention of who the one true king was?
No, again, sort of this imperial fantasy that he seemed to entertain.
But there wasn't any like particular person that he's thought he was championing for.
No, although you sort of flipping through in that section, because it seems as if this author had access to his Darabondi's this journal or logbook, and he calls out truth, capital T, truth, at multiple points, and so he seems to have been a proponent of, in his own way, finding the truth and tearing back the veil were two phrases that appeared frequently.
Shit's out there, man.
Yep.
Okay. We know that the police have this stuff, but I don't want to leave the library quite yet. There was another book beyond this one that was related to Darabondi as well. Anything special out of that, or similar kind of stuff? And also, wondering where the other 8 buildings are.
Mm-hmm.
They're still standing, but is there any pattern to where they're placed or anything like that?
Yeah, so it doesn't go into great detail, but you think you can, if you spend some more time, try and figure that out. There was also, again, the photo that you had found in the book of Darabondi and those children that had that image of the flagpole with the stone base, and so you feel like that was the Eternal Light Flagstaff, Madison Square Park. Yeah. That may have been a connection to this hotel that he stayed at. As you're sort of going through the books, because there's architecture, genius, and mental illness, which it seems like the chapter on Darabondi in there is largely the same, even more of an abridged portion.
Yep.
And darkness at the corners. You're sort of shuffling these books around, and a slip of newspaper falls out of the book.
Okay, what does the newspaper say?
So I have it right here for you.
Oops, I fell out of Roll20. Give me back in there. Close too many windows. Be there in a second.
Yep, no worries.
Or maybe more. Why is this not working?
Huh.
All right. I am almost back in.
No worries.
All right, I am back in. Okay.
All right. So it looks as if it was partly torn, partly clipped. And it does seem to reference this story. Or this allusion to him as the Picasso of architecture. But it doesn't have a date on it. So you flip it to the other side to see if there is to see what the date is. And so let me just put this here. All right, so if you go looking, do you see it there?
I see the Chicago Tribune thing.
should be back in the list now.
Oh, there you go. Oh, it's sporting.
And you see it's from 1905. Roosevelt
Okay.
wins as a peacemaker. Make a sanity check for me.
Yep. The same damn earrings. It's really slow for me right now. Sorry. Sanity.
All right. You sort of glance at it. You realize it's unusual. It's odd, but you sort of focus on the date and you flip it back over. And the moment you do, you sort of it slips out of your mind. It's not clearly not something that's too important. And you sort of go back to looking through your notes in the papers there in the library. All right, Jack and Willow out on the stoop. What are you guys up to?
Oh,
Should we, since we took a break to make the call? It's excellently handled, by the way.
Thanks so much. I'm so smooth.
Should we be as mundane as to grab something quick for lunch and then rush back to that basement discovery, or do we? I assume we think it's notable to check out further.
I would agree. Yeah, could we find like some to-go stuff to bring back?
Oh yeah,
close
there's
by?
a little bodega around the corner.
Bodega.
If we run into your sister at the bodega, this is really going to be
It's all
embarrassing.
over.
It turns out we were supposed to meet like next door at a restaurant.
Yeah, it's the neo bodega cuisine.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so you run around. You can get you can either get the hot bar, like the by weight.
No hot bar.
Hot bar,
No.
or you can get a sandwich or a yogurt, something like that. So whatever you want.
Sandwich and a bag of chips.
Yeah, there you go.
Boom.
Snapple.
And a snap.
Really hot right now in 1995.
What does the inside of the cap say?
What does the inside of this cap say? It says, "Be careful what you wish for, because it might be super flavorful, like this Snapple."
Nice.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah. Snapple joke number 572.
Nice.
Inside. Do you get extra stuff for your Confederates, or?
Let's grab some extra sandwiches.
Vic was missing for hours. Your coffee is MIA. We're going to get food for everybody else.
It could just end up being like a second course for us. So, double
Fair
up.
enough.
That's right.
Or for the rats that attack us.
That's right.
All right. You grab your food to go, and are you just gonna where are you gonna eat it?
On the stoop, I think.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it feels more comfortable out here anyway. A little bit of air going around.
Yeah, what is the
It's hot.
basement smells like paint thinner, right? So
Yeah, basement smells like paint thinner.
Mm.
Weird inside the building.
Is it
Yeah.
like what's the foot traffic or what's the scene outside right now?
Yeah, there's a decent number of people going by.
he's like, I'm glad you asked. Sanity check.
Sanity check.
Actually.
No, but you're watching people sort of go by, and it's New York in August, Kips Bay, so kind of an eclectic looking group, artists, old grandmothers, people just going about their lives. But as you're sitting on the stoop, something else occurs to you. And I think it occurs to, let's see. think you're sitting out there, and you both realize you're like, people are coming and going by you, but nobody's going in and out. I mean, there are only a few residents, so it maybe doesn't surprise you that much. But
Yeah, we're probably not spending too much time eating the sandwich and bag of chips and Snapple out front, but yeah.
you haven't seen anyone
Okay.
so far. All right. So you finish up with your lunch, and where are you going to go?
We're going back downstairs? All right.
All right. And Jacob, what are you up to?
But I guess we would have checked. The human thing to do, right, would have been to check the apartment to see if any of the guys returned to the apartment before.
The human thing to do.
I'm just saying, wouldn't that be the real life normal thing to do? I mean,
It would. I mean, we have all these extra sandwiches too,
right.
so we probably should. All right, we'll go back
That
by
makes the
way of
narrative
the
more
apartment. Yeah. We're
right.
we're doing human things. It's fine. We'll go to the apartment.
We wouldn't have to do human things all the time.
Just on this occasion, we're doing human things.
All right. So you go in the entry, the hallway. And Rob, I just sent you a note. Do you see that? So you go back in the hallway and go back in. The door to Abigail's apartment is open, and you wander in, and hey, it's Vic.
But oh,
What
where
have
have you
you
guys
been
been?
upstairs? Everything?
No, I was, checking it out. You guys seen the yellow sign? You seen
Yellow
this
sign?
thing? Yeah, the yellow sign. Can I show him the piece of paper?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So come with me to the bedroom. Is it stuck to the wall?
It's
Or is
still
it-
stuck to the wall. It's now the other papers have sort of come back
Sandwich.
over it.
Snapple,
Yeah, we put apples back.
bag of chips.
Yeah. So he invites you into the other room.
Sure.
What do we see?
So he shows you. Show it to everyone there. He shows you that on the wall.
Vic,
I've
I've seen this before.
Sorry, where is it? It hasn't showed up.
Here, let me put it there for you. Okay. There we go. It should be. Chris, you should be visible to you now. You
So-
see it on your list?
On the
Can
list?
I
What's it
ask
called?
you?
Abigail's apartment. Have you seen it?
What item is it supposed to be? What's it titled?
Have you seen it, Chris? Have you seen it?
It's called Have You Seen It?
No, I haven't.
No, that's what the file's called.
Oh, no, I've seen it.
We've seen it.
Chris, if you could make a sanity check for me.
That was on the arms? Like me personally or Jack?
Yeah.
Because I was pretty
Jack.
confused by that. Have you seen it? And then the chuckling.
That's right.
So just to clarify, I saw it in the refrigerator in the mannequin's hand, right?
That's where you found that other circle
Oh, is that different?
icon. Mm-hmm.
Okay, remind me where I saw the.
You found it on just a
Oh
scrap
my
of paper.
God. I'm never going to be sane.
Oh no!
I just failed it. Don't I get a close enough?
Yeah. And Vic, actually, I owed you one of these too. Here, hold on just a sec.
What causes the sanity check exactly?
We're about to find out.
So Vic, you and Jack both lose 2 sanity.
2?
Don't we have like 99?
Mm-hmm.
Not for long.
Vic, sharing
99 is your maximum.
sharing the symbol with the others, sharing the sign, seeking it out. You actually don't remember saying that to them, but showing it to them, bringing them to it and showing it to them, it actually is like this weight has come off your chest. Like, that's what I needed. I just needed them to see it. I needed them to know what I had seen here. This is important. I needed to share it.
Okay.
And so you feel this relief. Willow, you are sort of looking up at this thing. You recognize it from when you saw it before, and your eyes just kind of slide over it. It just you feel like it's just some gibberish. You don't understand at first. He sort of parts these papers and like, what even are you talking about? Like, there's nothing notable here. But Jack, you similarly kind of stand there and look at it, just watching sort of the lines, trying to trace them out, and you realize that this is something important and something influential. All right. So for you guys in the apartment, it's now getting to be, sort of early, getting to be sort of towards mid-afternoon. You spent some time going around, you got lunch, you brought it back. What are you three going to coordinate on? What are your next steps?
I think we relay to Vic what we saw in the basement, the artwork and the different spaces and the curious crack in the wall, and how we were thinking to go down and investigate that area further.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, we're all slackers and are really trying to avoid our actual assignment.
Not as much as I am.
Yeah.
You went across town, that's true.
The actual assignment of bagging all this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Well, I have to get off this call, so I could say I'm going to bag this stuff because I have at 9:30 I have to work on my C++ assignment with Jason. So
well, that's
that can be
fine.
my thing.
Then the one thing before you go, Vic, is you're sort of going through and you're like, you slackers, like, this is the job that we were given, and Marcus needs us to do this. Like, this was our number one job, was to clean up the stuff. And you're sort of rummaging around now that you've sort of broken out of this reverie, and you sort of pull out this one piece of paper. You're like, we need to be finding evidence. We need to be figuring out what's going on, finding this thing, whatever it is we're supposed to be finding. And this is something important. You sort of pull it out and are waving it around, and you see it is a plane ticket that was sort of stapled to something else, and you sort of pull it free and are looking at it.
Do we know who Michael Whitworth is?
No. But at first you're like, oh, a plane ticket. I wonder if this is maybe Abigail took the flight. Would that make sense from a timing perspective?
June 6th.
2015.
Where does it say 2015? Oh yeah. That doesn't seem right. just a mock-up. I think somebody made this.
Yeah. So Vic, maybe you'll sort of follow up with United Airlines. Make a
I'm not
call.
going to follow up with United Airlines if it's from 2015. Isn't this 1995?
Yeah. Clearly some sort of goofball thing.
Right. She's an artist. She's making these things.
Mm-hmm. That's right. You stuff it in a bag. You're like, you guys do whatever you're going to do. I'm going to work on this shit. This is our job. So that's what Vic is going to be applying himself to. All right. Excellent. Thank you, Vic.
We give him like the lemon tea Snapple, though.
Right. Which is the best
Yeah.
one. So you sort of leave that.
What
You
is
leave
the
it in the
Snapple?
mannequin's hands. You leave it in the mannequin's hands in the fridge.
We stopped at a bodega and we brought Snapples
Oh,
and
you brought
sandwiches.
Snapples?
Yeah.
That was a big
Brought some
95.
lunch. Yeah, put the sandwich in the mannequin's hands and
Yes.
That's right.
So are you guys going to go to the basement and go, is there like a crack, you're going to enter it? Like the tunnels that were in the picture?
We're gonna see what happens with the crack.
it doesn't seem big enough to be able to go into. At least
Yeah.
what it is now.
No. You didn't have a good light.
We'll tell you that, Vic, that it seems important. That
Important enough that we should.
important enough that we need to leave you alone to keep bagging and tagging
Right.
by yourself.
Doing the work.
That's right.
Yeah. And Vic, you're like, and I don't even know where that other guy is. Where did Ezra even go?
He went to go get coffee.
And where were those extra donuts? They're also
Do we-
on the mannequin's hands.
We don't know each other other than from being introduced at
Yeah.
Washington Square Park.
Right.
And that crack team.
Mm-hmm. Literally
Yeah.
a crack team because we're gonna go investigate the crack.
Nice.
Oh.
Hey. All right. Okay, so Vic, you're gonna put your nose to the grindstone. Jack and Willow, you're gonna head back downstairs. Jacob, what are you up to?
Well, to continue avoiding doing any real work, I'm going to go to the hotel that was pictured in that with the flagpole, and see what the hotel was like. Is there anything weird going on there?
Yeah, absolutely. So you head over. Oh, I just realized.
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
Bro.
No, I
The yellow signs behind him.
plug in.
Have you seen it?
What's that artwork right there?
Dogs playing poker. The most insanity inducing.
Clowns playing poker.
Clowns playing poker.
Dogs playing clowns playing.
Clown dogs.
Clown
No,
dogs.
clown
Oh,
dogs
God,
is
that's the
worse.
worst. Yeah. So yeah, you guys head back down there. Jacob, you are over at the live. You're gonna go take a look at the where the hotel is,
Yeah.
where he stayed.
Sorry guys, my dude has arrived. So
No worries.
I gotta go.
See you, Vic.
Good luck
Bye.
in the crack.
All right. So, yeah, you take the train over and
Stop at a bodega, get a Snapple and a sandwich on the way.
that's right. I mean, Snapple is just the thing to get.
I feel like you would get, what is that one? The kiwi strawberry?
Strawberry.
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah.
That's the one.
This is a social simulator. If you're guessing what kind of Snapple people would have had.
Didn't sign up for this.
Definitely a kiwi strawberry guy.
So yeah, you head over to
Tropical.
Mm.
there we go. Where this hotel is supposed to be, and you recall that it had a big stylized bee on the sort of window that you could make out. So you're looking for hotels with bees in the name. You get there and you sort of position yourself exactly where the near where you believe the photographer would have been taking this photo. And similarly, you are trying to figure out, okay, so if I'm standing here taking the picture, you're looking and there's no hotel there where the hotel in the photo would have been. And in fact, there's no similar building, so it's not even as if it was converted to some other purpose. So for all you know, perhaps it was torn down. But there are a number of these other, let's see, Madison Square Park. Yeah, a bunch of these other sort of old New York buildings around there, but with the flagpole there, you feel like, yeah, this of all the buildings around here, none of them would match up. Yeah. And you look back in the book to see if there's any reference, because you're like, okay, so you look at the picture and you realize that picture is the picture is different. That this time there is this photo just of Darabandi, sort of standing there with this hotel on the back, and the caption reads, 1928. Darabandi lived for a time at NYC Hotel, which he helped restore in lieu of payment.
Sorry, so he was the one that was arrested or under suspicion of
the murders.
The murders of the kids,
and drownings. Mm-hmm.
And he has the pictures of those two girls looking sort of drowned or dead.
Can I see the flagpole at all? Is the flagpole still there?
Flagpole's still there.
Anything interesting about the flagpole?
No, it seems to be the flagpole, the distinctive Madison Square Park flagpole, the Eternal Light flagstaff. Make a sanity check for me. Cool as a cucumber. Yeah, you not only notice that the sort of the Darabandi is now standing there alone, but you, for a moment, you thought you saw sort of in the corner of the photo a face, sort of looking in from the side, a woman's face, and for just the briefest second, you thought, well, that looks an awful lot like Abigail. But then you sort of blink your eyes, you look closer, you see it is a woman, but her face is turned, and she's wearing some sort of distinctive hat with a flower coming out of it.
Okay. Do I still have the scrap of paper?
Yep.
With the, do you see it, scrap paper?
Yep.
Do I want to do this? Do we want to bring them into it? I don't know. Give me a second. So I'm looking at that piece of paper.
Yep.
I'm looking at my own personal signet ring. And there's somewhat kind of similar.
Yep.
And I do have some connections there.
This is true.
Wondering if there might be some secret knowledge at the Grand Lodge.
Gonna go down and ask some questions?
I think I might. Because all I'm trying to do is avoiding that set of paper.
That's right.
Although I am really good at it. I really should be there, but I don't know. I feel like this is a dead end with the hotel, at least at the moment. So I don't know what else to do here.
Yep.
So it's either head back to the residence and assist digging through the papers, or head to the Grand Lodge. And I do remember the symbol appearing before on somebody else.
Mm-hmm.
So I know I've seen this symbol before.
You feel like you have, although you keep trying to like picture it in your head and it sort of slips out. So you keep being like, what is it? And you reference it, okay, but it sort of slips out when you stop looking at it. And you're like, yeah, I feel like maybe I saw it before back at the apartment.
Okay. I, as the player, know exactly where I saw it, but as the character, I will say I don't remember it. Sure. Let's just see how this mechanic works since we've never used it before. How do you use connections?
Yeah. So
I'm gonna go to Grand Lodge and see if they think anything of this weird symbol.
Yeah. So I'll have you head in that direction, and then meanwhile, I'm going to have Willow and Jack, or should I say Elm and Eddie, are down in the basement. What are you guys doing down there?
Just hanging out, playing foosball.
Yeah.
We're gonna check out the crack. At least I'm curious to look closer at the crack because I ran away to make a very important phone call before looking at it last time.
Yeah, I'm a little disappointed we didn't think to get a flashlight at a corner store before heading back.
Well, you can.
I definitely did.
Yeah, the bodega had one.
Yeah. Don't you remember when I bought that with the Snapples?
If you'll excuse us, I think that would be great if we found the strongest flashlight we could, which probably wasn't that strong, but better than nothing.
Right. And yeah, so you grab a flashlight and you go back down. And you get into the basement.
Is it all lit? Everything as we had left it?
As you had left it. And you go over, and which one of you has the flashlight?
I'll take it.
Yeah.
Might be time for some more sexism. I better go ahead and handle that flashlight, thanks.
Handle the flashlight.
Ooh, do you give it to him?
No, I'm just kidding. She bought it, right? So.
Yeah, with the Snapples.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
I was too cheap to buy one myself. We got one. That's fine.
It's fine.
Excellent. So you go over and hold the flashlight up to the crack. And all right, so you're gonna try and peer in. Are you doing anything? You just kind of putting the flashlight up, just kind of looking in as far as you can, angling it around, fishing it around.
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So you realize that it is a crack that goes fairly deeply. It's really odd actually, because it's a brick. As I said before, sort of rough stones and brick. Clearly an old foundation that's been put there, and there's this crack that's partly sort of the joints, the spaces between bricks, but then also some bricks are cracked, but it's pretty consistent. And it gets a little bit wider as it goes up to about eye level or higher, and you kind of bang the flashlight after trying to get it going. It sort of flickers, and you realize the batteries. It's probably been sitting in that bodega in the container for God knows how long. But you you go ahead and shine it in, and you realize it goes very deep. So you're trying to sort of peer in and look really deeply into this crack, and you feel as you start to that the breeze is sort of picking up, and it's bringing with this dry, sort of dusty scent. And you're looking through, and you realize that maybe you don't quite know how far back, but a little ways back, there's definitely like something on the other side, like an opening, a space. And so maybe it's a foot, 2 feet, maybe it's a little bit further, but there's some sort of opening, maybe the other basement or passageway. You're sort of looking, and all of a sudden your light reflects off of a surface. And you're trying to look. You feel like maybe if you got up a little bit higher, you could see through more clearly, because the crack sort of widens as it goes up the wall. Do you want to try to find something or get a boost?
Let's stack up all the canvases and climb up on those.
Here, bend down, make like a step ladder, and I'm going to step on your back real quick.
It's just because of the sexist crack from earlier.
Exactly.
Do I see anything that I could, like, is there a little stool or a box
if you
or
rummage
something?
around, I think you would find, even in the room with the paintings.
Maybe the chair.
Well, there were some cartons, with that linseed oil. And so you realize that there's some cartons in there. Do you want to go grab them?
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go help, of course, but
Okay,
Yeah,
thanks.
you both go in there and you step inside the little storage room, and the paintings are there, but that set of containers of linseed oil with the posted on top is gone.
that's swell.
Really?
But you do see there's this other little crate off in the corner that you could use.
Okay, but we noticed that it's gone.
Yeah.
Huh, okay.
And the
weird.
The linseed oil is paint thinner. Is that what it is? What is
Basically.
it? Yeah. All right.
Okay. All right. We'll take the crate for now, but
You
a
also
little
notice
strange.
the coverings are back on the paintings.
Oh no.
I think we're good with that, right?
That's fine.
Well, we do think that it's one of the artists, right? The initials, at least, or the
right,
seem to match one of the current tenants. So he could have.
Yeah, that's right.
Thomas Manuel. Mm-hmm.
Maybe he came down while we went to get Snapple.
Left all the lights on.
Yeah,
That's
okay.
fine.
Could be.
All right, let's
right.
bring the crate over.
Yeah, you bring the crate over, and you step again on the crate as we get up a little bit higher, and now you have a much better view. You're peering through, and you do realize there's some sort of like hallway on the other side of the crack. You think at this point maybe it's actually not as far as you thought. Maybe it's closer to only a foot or less, because you're sort of looking through and maybe even sort of picking with your finger little old brick and mortar that's crumbling away. And you're looking through and you see that there are a number of surfaces that are sort of reflecting the light back at you. And as you peer through, you realize it seems like there are a bunch of bottles arranged on the other side, all different sizes, shapes, colors.
Flavors of Snapple.
Yeah. Not Snapple bottles, but yeah, no, you have Snapple on the mind. And these are fairly old-fashioned. They seem fairly dusty, but still the light's picking up on them. And you see there are some labels. There's like a single label on each of them as you look. And the sort of there's a gust of wind, and some of that loose mortar sort of blows into your face, into your eyes. But just as it does, you feel like you see sort of motion to the side, and something crosses in front of the crack. And you're startled. You sort of fall back, step off of the crate heavily with a thud.
Eddie, did you see that?
Well, I assume she was completely blocking my view.
Oh yeah, especially that big hat.
What?
Especially what?
That big hat.
The big hat. I didn't see anything. You saw something?
Looks
Maybe
like
I felt a little bit of the wind or something.
Looked like something moved across the crack. Who could be back there? What could be back there?
You got to be whispering right now, right? I think I saw something.
But Eddie, you're looking and you realize, as the wind had sort of blown some stuff out, you realize there's this piece of paper that is a little corner of paper that's sticking out of lower area of the crack. You can now see now that.
I point it out to Elm.
Yeah.
Look, I'm barely saying to this. I can't be too curious.
Okay, I'll take a look.
All right, so you pull it out, and it appears to be a typewritten page. It's a long one. So, Elm, do you want to read that?
Oh, sure. Hang on. Yeah. Scene. A hotel ballroom where truth sets the tune so that all may dance. The room appears empty. Enter David Langford. David steps furtively into the doorway, moving timidly with the music. After a few moments, he advances into the room, keeping to the walls. He approaches a table laden with what appears to be leftovers from a party. David drinks some punch out of a punch bowl. He then proceeds to eat cake crumbs, nuts, Turkish delight, and thin cookies. In a frantic swell of music, David darts to the doorway, looking down the hall in both directions. After a moment of observation, he returns to the room. David approaches the couches set before the hearth as the music becomes cheerful. He starts to sit down and then notices something on the mantle. It is a cigarette case. There's also a pack of matches. He opens the case to find one cigarette left. With trembling hands, he removes the cigarette and lights it. He takes a long drag from the cigarette. David is suddenly doubled over in a fit of coughing as the music turns to exquisite discord. He appears to be panicked and is attempting to exit the room, but is finding it very difficult to move with any speed as his body is racked with coughing. Finally, he collapses from exertion and lack of breath. David slowly stops coughing. The music grows faint and sad. For a while, he lies on his back, too tired to move. He then begins sobbing. He cries for some time, sobbing, taxing his energy and racking his body almost as much as the coughing did. A drum becomes faintly audible in the distance. It becomes louder and is now identifiable as the theme of The Child Clown. David leaps to his feet, but his music is nearly drowned out by the relentless drum. He runs to the table, stuffs his pockets with food, and exits.
Willow, if you could make a sanity check for me.
Oh, the child clown!
You weren't happy with the social plans canceling simulator.
I know, now it's the child clown simulator. Hang on.
Fumble.
Oh no.
At long last.
It's one child clown too many. It's true.
You know,
It's like minus 10 to your sanity.
That's right. Lose 1 point of sanity for me if you'd be so kind. From the unnatural. This recurring theme, because you can distinctly recall the sound of that relentless drum. The sound of that pounding from the park that clown danced to with its paper dragon. Jacob, you head over to the Grand Lodge of New York, and presumably you have connections there, so you are able to sort of find the right person, and you end up with the sort of grand historian in the facility there.
Yep.
Who says, "Oh yeah, Jacob, how can I help you, brother Hess?"
It's been doing some work, and run across a couple of symbols that looked somewhat familiar, but not really. And I was wondering if you might have ever seen some variations on our symbology before.
And the let me just make a quick roll. The Grand Historian takes the page, newspaper clipping, and he sort of looks at the front, and he turns it over, and he looks at it, and he suddenly goes white in the face, and he looks at you directly in the eyes, and he says, How dare you bring this thing here? How dare you, sir? How dare you?" And he sort of he goes to crumple it and like push it into your chest. This is abhorrent.
Okay. I was just doing some research for state, as I always do, and ran across the symbol. It seemed a little too conveniently similar to our more standard symbology. So, can you tell me anything about it? I mean, other than its importance?
You would look into such things. This is a terrible tragedy. I can't believe he would bring this back up again. Dredge it up. As if we need this sort of attention. He goes over and he starts rifling through some filing cabinets off to the side, and he seems to be muttering to himself. And he, a moment later, after collecting a couple things, comes over and again sort of just like shove this manila folder at you. If you're so interested in the darkness, here, just take it, get it out of here.
Thank you for your time, sir.
Go ahead and just see, 2. Reduce your bond by 1.
Okay. I'll find my character sheet again. There we go.
Mm-hmm.
Bond goes down to 13. Lucky 13. Okay.
So you go out and out of the building, and you open up the folder, and inside you see that there are a couple of clippings and a couple other photos that have been put in, and it appears that Asa Darabandi was a Mason, and he had been active with a particular sort of small lodge that whose name does not ring a bell for you as currently being active. And you see in particular that there's this one picture that looks like a photo from 1934 of Darabandi as master of this lodge, and only about there are only 5 other individuals in the photo. But you see, as you look, that everyone else's regalia is to be expected, but Darabandi himself is wearing a modified square and compasses on his jewel.
Yeah, that I assume looks like what I've been looking at.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And it fills you with this sort of disquiet and unease as you gaze at it, but still you're feeling quite anxious about it. But it just kind of again falls out of your head. You realize it's a mark. It's similar to square and compasses, but you keep having to refer back to it because you can never quite retrace the exact pattern in your head if you aren't looking at it. All right, Jack and Willow. It's at this point, let's say getting on to, mid to later afternoon. So let's say 3 or 4 o'clock.
We've been looking at this crack for a while. Should we move on?
Yeah, and you realize when you're trying to look again, you can never quite get the light right to see the reflection. So Jack, you got up there to look, and Willow's like, no, you just need to sort of angle it the right way, and you can sort of get past the thing. You keep looking, and you realize it's just the crack. It just sort of goes back into the wall. You don't get a glimpse of this space, this hallway, whatever it was on the other side, or the bottles.
How thick does the wall seem, though?
So it seems like, to you as you're up there looking, the crack goes back probably at least a foot or more. You're having trouble getting the light to penetrate through. You don't quite get the impression that there's there could be something on the other side, but you can't quite get the angle on it. It's just this fairly deep crevice crack that winds its way back.
So, I think that it makes sense to maybe return to make some more progress on the documentation or all the evidence in the place. We'll just sort of note this.
Yep.
Everybody else, and it might be worth, if we all gather up again, it might be worth exploring what's, where that leads or what's next door or something like that. But a little bit of a dead end for the moment.
Yeah. So you head back upstairs, and Jacob, what are you going to do now that you have sort of this information, this revelation?
I'm gonna get some donuts.
Get some donuts.
And then
Excellent.
head back.
And then you're going to head back. All right.
Yeah.
So it's probably again going on, let's say 5-ish, 5:30ish. And Jacob, you come strolling back in. Jack and Willow, at this point, you've gone through the excess of snaffles and snacks you'd gotten from from Manny's delicatessen across the way, and Vic has again, you sort of walked in, and Vic wasn't in the apartment. Vic, for all he had said, he was going to stay there and continue working on stuff. You see that he bagged and tagged some things, but then if you go in, he's gone again. But you continue sort of going about your stuff. But Jacob strolls in. Jacob, do you share anything about your discoveries?
I share whatever I can. Yeah.
Yeah. Weird building designed by this guy. Used to be this house owned by a rich guy who died up on the stairs to the roof.
Yep. And son died in the ballroom. In the ballroom. Yeah.
Yeah. But it's going on. Like I said, 5:30 at this point. There's still a lot to do. Do you guys think you're gonna stick around? Are you gonna sort of push through and try and do some more work? Are you gonna call it a night? Like, what do you?
I think we should do some more work. If we're, I gotta get through as much as possible, because come Monday, I don't want to keep on, if at all possible, keep on making excuses for why I can't go back to my day job.
Yeah, and you do realize that if you don't buckle down and get this done, again, whether you're doing a good job or a half-assed job, if you don't buckle down and do it, like, there's no way you're going to get it done by end of Sunday unless you put in the time.
Yeah,
especially with Vic being such a flake. So just so you continue on with the work. Do you sort of work together on this, or do you split up?
Seems more efficient. Different rooms. Split up a little bit, probably.
All right.
Do you finally give Elm her coffee?
I drank it.
Oh no.
It's really hard work there at the library.
And I got you that kiwi strawberry too, man.
These donuts made my throat dry.
My favorite. How did you know? Love that kiwi. Oh.
All right, tomorrow you owe me.
So as you're searching, each of you sort of finds a notable item. You're continuing into the evening. Do you? So let's say Ezra, as you're going through items, this stands out to you, and you realize, oh, no, this has Abigail's name on it.
Yep.
So you see this, and you feel like it's important.
Okay.
And
are we actually in 10B?
No. 10B actually doesn't correspond to the conventions on the apartment.
Yeah, she's like the first maybe the first apartment, right, in the building. So
That's correct. Cross-check the number on this with the ticket number on the theater ticket, because I think it's exactly the same.
Make a sanity check.
Uh-huh.
Yeah,
Nice.
saw that coming.
Mm-hmm.
nice.
Still, you lose 1 point from making this connection. You realize it's like, how improbable would it be for these numbers to be the same?
Yes.
You zeroed in on it, and yet your mind
50 years apart.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The apartment doesn't match up. You can't make out the signature. It is this scrawl. But you, you also note the date.
Yep, which was right before she disappeared. After she disappeared.
Yep. So then,
I'm gonna call this Tessie Paper Products because Tessie.
Yeah, so you start looking. You start thinking. You maybe get on the phone and call for directory service, something like that. Meanwhile,
And that's a huge discovery, right? If she disappeared, does this mean she came back and somehow dropped that here? I mean, what would we normally think? Like, maybe she's currently renting an apartment somewhere and she's actually okay. Maybe.
Could be. Exactly.
Except for the bizarre connection that you tell us, Ezra, about this. I mean, Go ahead.
I'm actually full of crap. It's not the same number. It's a very similar number, but it's not the same number. First 4 digits are reversed.
Well, it could be European versus.
Could be. Could be a date.
It's
something
still...
that happened on 8/30/1895.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, on this day in history.
In this day in history, there was a mystery.
So, sorry, what is today's date for us? 1995. It's in August, right? No,
it is in August. Mm-hmm.
All right, so it's not.
No, it's not the 30th. No. Mm-hmm.
But we're coming up on something maybe happening 100 years later.
Yeah, exactly.
100 years later.
And then, Jack, you are searching through, and you find this. It's hotel stationery with a sketch on it.
It's the Big White Hotel.
Hotel Grodervin.
Okay.
Yep. It's a very sort of elegant cream-colored stationery. With this Art Deco font. No address, obviously, but this rudimentary map. And you can tell it's like I said, a quality piece of paper. And then Willow.
I haven't heard of this hotel though.
No. Doesn't ring any bells. Willow, you find these paper napkins that have these odd mechanical drawings on them in ballpoint pen. They have these gold initials stamped into them. They're very nice quality napkin, GBR. One diagram is labeled LEAO, and the other is labeled Escriba. And so whether you or potentially Jacob as well, can just tell the one is labeled the lion and the other labeled the scribe. Give me a let's see, do you have no, alright. So you see those, and then it's getting late at this point, or it's well around or past dinner time. The sun is set, and you all are sort of looking at each other, talking, perhaps, or sharing. You've been working diligently for hours now, still sort of pulling pieces off the wall, bagging them, boxing them, and all of a sudden you hear this donk 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 donk, and a do, the sound of a dog running out in the hallway upstairs.
Anybody want to go investigate that?
Not alone.
And that's the most normal sounding thing potentially about this building so far, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I don't think we should all go up there. Did the two of you want to go up or something like that? I can continue bagging and tagging.
Yeah, we'll take a look. What do you think?
Sure.
All right.
All right. So you both go out into the hallway, and the hallway lights are on at this point, sort of casting this golden glow over the rich maroon carpet matted down from however many feet they've trod through there. And you go around to go upstairs, head up the stairs. Meanwhile, Jack, you are in the apartment and are continuing on. Your compatriots have sort of just gone upstairs to investigate the dog, and you're maybe walking back into the main kitchen area to get another set of plastic evidence baggies when you glance down the hall toward the bathroom door, and you are...
This is what I get for being brave. Go ahead, sorry.
No, don't worry. You realize that the light is on in the bathroom. You don't recall it being on before, so you sort of pause and take a look. The door is open, and suddenly you see someone rapidly walking in front of the open door of the bathroom in Abigail Wright's apartment, as if on a brisk walk. Seems to be a man in white shoes carrying a briefcase. And just as soon as you sort of see him, maybe sort of turns and gives you a look, and then he's out of sight walking past the other edge of the door frame.
All right. I call out to him and hurry to try and catch up with him.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody should have been in the apartment.
No, nobody should have been in the apartment. And you go and look, and the bathroom is tiny, and there's no place that a person could have come from, let alone gone to in this space.
So that man, he crossed, like, sort of from outside into the bathroom and
other direction, so we're just sort of crossing. So from that in the direction of the hallway.
And so I'd go that way.
Yeah, out into the hallway to look.
Yep.
And you poke your head out, and all of a sudden,
maybe like close to my hand close to my sidearm at this point.
Uh-huh. You see the barest glance of the tip of that briefcase going up the stairs, like disappearing around the corner of the stairs.
So basically, sort of following where my two teammates essentially went, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I'll up my speed, trying to catch up to him. Trying to be careful, like using my training to, pause, peer around the corner, proceed.
Yeah, you sort of proceed up the stairs, and you sort of look around, and the next floor hallway landing is empty, and you hear the tap tap of those white shoes continuing up the stairs one more time, up to the second floor.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna follow him.
Continue going and
try to go faster.
Corner. You go faster up the stairs, and you crest up to the second floor, and you look, and there's no one there. And all of a sudden, you hear a door shut around the corner, going up even further, and a snippet of conversation.
All right, I think I'll take out my gun and I guess continue up. I assume that that's towards the roof at this point, right?
Yep. You continue up the steps, heading up to the roof. You go up those stairs, you open the door, and as you're going up the steps, you hear this voice. Hello? Hello? And you open the door, and it's not to the roof. So we'll go ahead and end there. Right on time.
What?
We'll end right there.
And I'm fine, right? I'm sure that I'm not,
I mean,
I've acclimated quickly, right, to all this crazy.
So well. I'm not at all keeping a running tally.
Oh, man.
Only one clown appearance today.
Only one clown. Put it up on the big board.
I didn't
Guys,
see the guy's face yet, right? So
my name reads "One child clown is too many." That's like very important here. Too many.
One child clown. Yeah.
We got to bring it down to 0. 0 clowns.
How do you plan to bring it down to 0?
It's just going to get worse from here. It's clowns on clowns on clowns.
Yo, dog, I heard you like clowns. So I put some clowns on top of the clowns.
And I have a thing against white shoes, I guess. So
yeah, exactly.
Mm-hmm.
After Labor Day.
Want to point out on the map, it did say point to an apartment where the man with the white shoes comes from. So.
Oh yeah, that's why I went. That's the apartment I checked out. Was the
with Roger Caroon in there.
Yeah. Mm. Never made it to that closet.
I bet there was a man with white shoes stuck in there. Let me out! Let me out!
Finally, you came and saved me.
that what he's gonna say when I catch up to him on the
No.
floor that shouldn't be there?
Mm-mm. Definitely.
I'm sure
not.
that's what he's going to say. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mm.
Well, exciting for next time, guys.
This is exciting.
Yeah.
When we log into the Zoom, is the music just already going to be going?
It's already going to be playing. We're going to be off to the races from there.
Excellent.
So, yeah, fantastic. Well, thank you guys.
Terrifying.
Thank you.
I'm excited. You guys are good investigators. Kudos to you guys.
So deliciously curious.
I know.
Like, will I ever get my coffee? Will I make it to my wine date? I mean, these are the questions that keep me up at night.
Uh-huh.
You're
How many
90s
missed
girl.
calls? Yeah, how many
That's
missed
what's
calls?
really important, you know?
I'm getting there tonight for the wine, but this dog situation is throwing a wrench in the works.
You're a specialist, so.
Let's see. Your sister has wanted to see While You Were Sleeping with You ever since it came out.
Oh, I haven't seen it yet then.
No.
Right?
It came out back in April, so.
I am in for such a treat. I don't even know.
So when I zoomed up to the second floor on up, I didn't see them, or hear them when I.
No, not at all. Son of a. All right. Well, have a good night, guys.
Oh, this will be good. Okay.
Sure it'll be good.
Yeah.
Report back what nightmares I had tonight.
Exactly.
Yeah.